strange, I know, going on a day walk. Yeah. So this weekend is done. Wow. Um, it was a whirlwind. It felt like, well, definitely way more than 2 days, that's for sure. Yeah. It was stressful, to say the least, but yeah, this unbelievable spike of pride in my son. I will get all crying. I keep doing it. Don't mind that. So proud of him. Because he really did have a hard fought battle to graduate high school. And the ceremony itself, you know, actually, seriously, their convocation speaker was just like a giant advertisement for her company. It was kind of annoying. But the rest of it was great. He was pretty bored. So, I don't know how we pulled this off. Because it was like a big ceremony that they had in a public theater that they hire out to do this. Somehow, my son was in the front row, like a third from the middle, and there was an aisle down the middle. So, I mean, couldn't miss him. And somehow, there's like cheers in this theater. We were on the first floor in the second section, second row, right on the center, and for some reason the people in front of us left. So, pure sight. It was great. So that part was great. It was really nerve-wracking dealing with his father. You know, I mean, it's a bummer about his father. We used to be good friends once upon 100 years ago. And then it's gotten weird, very weird. And, you know, my son comments all the time that my relationship with people is so vastly different from his relationship with people. I mean, I think that I'm like, I don't know how to put this. I'm just going to say it, okay? I'm just going to say some weird stuff and whatever. I think that people have an impression of me as being like, I don't want to say nurturing, but like almost the servant of people. I'm wondering. I've taken you into the mill before, haven't I? I think I'm going to try and take you back in the mill today. The mill is cool. I love it. It's illegal breaking and entering into an abandoned building, but whatever. Anyway, I really like it. I don't know. It's like people just... I noticed it way before I had kids, way before I met my son's father. Way before I met my son's father. In work situations. There's just something about my nature that people unload on me. That they... I don't know how to put it. They just expect... Got some flowers. It's getting to be springtime, summertime. They just expect that, and they're right, that I can basically be like a rock and do for them. So, glass in the... Anyway, my son, you know, obviously he's a kid. He treats me like the servant butler. See, every time I talk about the graduation, I'm gonna get choked up. It's just how it is. Anyway, so yeah, he came beeline for me afterward. A great big hug. It was awesome. And then hugged his father, who was there. I have a ridiculous amount of cousins. Let's see. My mother was one of 5, and my father was one of 6, and all their kids, the average was 4. So I have, and a lot of them are in the area, like, I don't know, 30, 40 cousins and all their kids. They all could have come. My sister, of course, knew it was the graduation. Absolute silent from her. Didn't have anything to do with this. So we put out the invitations, and it was a nice empty row. I think that some of the problem... Oh, here's the mill. I think that some of the problem is that people don't... I don't know why. Well, I guess because we're not vocal, and he's not on Facebook because he's underage and that's illegal, and etc., etc. They assume that his name is my name as far as his last name. It's not. It's his father's last name. Sounds better. My name, same thing. I had the spelling of the first name changed, and also changed my last name. I took my father's last name because my mother and he were not married when I was born, and so originally when I was born I had my mother's last name, which was actually her first husband's last name. A guy who had nothing to do with me, no relation at all. So I changed it to my father's, and also changed the spelling of my first name. I know, very, very much the I don't know what you call it, ridiculousness. The poet at heart. It's important to me. It was important my son's name. Sounds good. It sounds better with his last name than with my last name, his father's last name. And, ooh, it's squishy down here. And, yeah, other reasons. Like my grandmother, who's now dead, died of Alzheimer's. Well, died of stomach cancer, I guess. Do I want to go in here? This is the way I normally go. It looks very overgrown. Or do I want to go in there? I'll go in here. Plus, it sounds very loud down here, and there might actually be people working on it. In which case, I need to skedaddle. I want to know about that. Anyway, yeah, my grandmother famously said, "Oh, good, we've got a boy in the family to carry on the family name." When I've had other cousins who had children and named them the last name, but they were mixed race babies. So as far as she's concerned, they didn't exist. They didn't count. And I was like, bullshit. I am not going to name my kids, last name the same as this and honor a tremendously racist family. Sorry. Very political, but it's a fact. So anyway. So that was some of the problem. Actually, one of my aunts sent my son a check with my last name and his first name, and it was a little bit of a rigmarole to cash it, and I'm not sure if it's cleared yet. So anyway, here's the mill. I love this place. Abandoned mill that's basically an open air art museum with all this fabulous graffiti. It's also super dangerous down here. Ooh, another open door. I don't know if I ever noticed it before. Probably, but whatever. So anyway, nobody showed up. I have no idea what this is in here. Oh, I've never been in this room. Just me and his father. So we had to sit together. That was weird, very weird. I don't know. There's part of me that's really nasty about it that thinks, why is this guy getting any credit when he had almost nothing to do at all? Isn't that cool? That's like 12 feet high and 18 feet wide, 20 feet wide. I don't know. It's huge. It's awesome. Another door. What is this? Oh, I think it's the same room that I was just in. Yeah, it is. Anyway. So, I really... What is that? Falcon? Can you see it? Oh, it's looking at me. That's interesting. Lots of pigeons in here. Maybe there aren't many pigeons anymore if there's a falcon living in here. That's cool. Although I hear that other chirping, so there's something else living in here. Yeah, that's bittersweet. Oh man. Oh wait, no. Okay, do you see these? Let me kill myself here. Do you see these staircases that get you upstairs? That's probably where I need to be. Although I'm really digging the fact that there's this bird in here. No, I can't see it. I wonder where it went. It's probably right over my head. Might have flown away. Oh, there's one. There's one. It's not the one that I saw. That falcon or whatever. Anyway. Kite. Something. So. Oh, it's getting dark. Ooh, it's getting spooky. There's definitely somebody in there. Up a floor. See how the chemicals are leaching out of this concrete? It's really cool in here. Anyway, that is kind of a strange thing. I love this bird too. Because I really wish that my son and his father did have any kind of relationship with each other. Might just be water I'm hearing dripping. Although that really does sound like steps. Maybe it's echoes from me. Whatever, if I run into somebody, I run into somebody. What are they going to do, arrest me? Let them. So, I really wish that they did have a closer relationship. I liked his father, hence child. I think I found them. Let me see. No, it really is just water. It really is just water down there. I don't think I'm going down there. This staircase is very rickety. There's broken steps. I mean, I could go down there. So, it is sort of weird that I have this perspective with his father that I wish they were closer, but they weren't, and how dare the guy show up at the very end and start taking credit. Maybe that's what I was hearing, the wind's blowing the doors. I have no idea how long this place has been, and the hinges are still really good because they're still working. So, yeah. So I had to make small talk with his father and sit with all his teachers. I think it's too dark to see anything at all in this area, and I'm not turning on lights. I don't know. I keep hearing things. It's because it's a Monday when I'm filming this, and normally I come on the weekend. I think there's extremely tiny chance I would run into workers on the weekend. There's extremely tiny chance I would run into anybody on the weekday. I'm avoiding talking about this stuff. It's difficult. It's really hard to talk about this weekend and this dead relationship. And this is a problem when you have a kid. I think this was, see, it's dripping. That's what it is. I'm hearing dripping from the rain. Thinking it's a person, I'm an idiot. It's difficult because you do, to a degree, have to interact with them forever. You can't do the normal avoidant, normal for me, avoidant thing of you're out, you're done, I'm never going to have anything to do with you ever, ever, ever again. Because that is what I do. I cut people out and that's it, and they're gone and that's it. Period. Forever. Do I want to try these stairs? I'll try these stairs. See, if you walk over the joists, they're less likely to break through, but who knows, maybe. I don't think I've ever come through this way either. I think this is normally closed. Anyway, so then after the ceremony, people are assuming that there's going to be a big party and a big food and all this other stuff. Oh, one of those things fell from the ceiling. Yeah, this is where I normally come in, this way. And so they showed up after the graduation. I think this sucks. This is kind of like people who skip a marriage and go straight to the reception. That's where I was down there. I just thought it was very strange. And so we went out to dinner with some of my cousins that met us as we were leaving. My cousin and her boyfriend. Actually, the boyfriend, I've talked about this before, that when my cousin started seeing him, she sicked this guy on me. The hell was that? Basically tried to use me as bait to see if he would go for temptation or if he was going to be true to her or something. I don't know. That was years ago, though. And they're still together, so I guess, her test worked out on him. So they showed up, and then my son's father, oh my God. All this. See, aren't these cool? I like them. He is borderline personality disorder, which in retrospect makes perfect sense to me. But I didn't know at the time. I didn't know my diagnosis. I didn't know his diagnosis. I didn't even know personality disorders. I thought it was just a nasty thing. People say, oh, you have a personality disorder. That means I don't like you. So he was being, very borderline with his anxiety over this situation. See, somebody actually apologized for saying that a picture of him and my son was a good picture because they thought, oh no, I'm complimenting your ex. And I'm like, oh, give me a break. Come on. It's like so not even. I mean, some people get really, really bitter about that. And I suppose there are people who would be really bitter about that. My relationship with my son's father, not an issue. His relationship with his father, not an issue. His father taking credit for anything that has to do with my son, that irks me. I think understandably. I'm never going to get buzzed by any of these birds. They make me squawk. See, there's holes. Probably 30-foot drop down there. So I think that he was super anxious about how I would receive him and if I would be like a total mega bitch because frankly, he would deserve that. And also, frankly, he owes, I don't know, like hundreds and hundreds of dollars of child support. And maybe he was thinking that I would make a point of bringing that up. I like this one. Looks like neon. It's actually really cool how they did that. I was looking at it before. They spray it with a color, and then they sprayed white over it while it was still wet, so that the color would kind of come through the white. I think it's really cool. I'm like, yes, very artistic. This ceiling bit has fallen more recently, and I suppose these things could cave in on me and kill me at any time. That'd be cool. I don't think I dare try to get around this door. See if I can peek through it. Can't really see much out there. So that was fine. And then afterward, my cousin showed up. We went to a restaurant, and the thing was that they, I guess, were like, oh yeah, we're gonna order apps and everything else. And I'm like, when I got my master's degree, the person I was dating at the time, I know I'm talking about a lot of people I dated. I mean, it sounds like I've been dating a lot, but we're talking about 2 moments in 47. I'm 47 years old now. Anyway, so yeah, I was dating somebody 100 years ago when I was getting my master's degree. And at the time, it was weird. When I got my master's degree, I went to such a big school that they had a double ceremony. You went in, something died there, probably from that hawk. So beautiful out there today. Anyway, so you went to the first ceremony, and then you went to a completely different location for a second ceremony where you actually got your degree. And my ex was like, oh, this is such a big deal. I'm going to get you a cake and all this other surprise stuff. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I have to get to this other place. And when I got there, isn't this cool? It was so late, thanks to this wonderful gesture of getting me a cake and having extended dinner. I missed all of the... Oh, it's wind knocking on those things that's making that noise. I was thinking it was people. People. Maybe they will follow me. See, they're moving. So anyway, I walked in just as they announced my name, walked around, got in line, grabbed my degree, kept going, walked right out of the building, missed the entire second ceremony, which kind of sucks. Oh, lots of feathers in here too. Sort of the same thing happened. I had a place to be at 4 in the afternoon after my son's you're right, after my son's, I wonder how much asbestos I'm breathing in, and lead and everything else. Ooh, open electrical, the main safety switch. I know, all over. I think this stuff is cool. It's also actually really difficult to talk about this stuff, so. Yeah. So my cousins showed up. They're like, we want to have apps. We want to have this. We want to have that. I mean, they were clearly going to spend like 6-8 hours, something like that. Ooh, bathroom. That is a sink. If you guys don't know, what you would do is step on that ring around the bottom, and the water would come out up here and spray out, and then you never have to touch anything, so it would like be a more safe, sanitary sink. You wouldn't have to touch taps and contaminate, which means this is probably a bathroom. Ooh, cool. Very colorful urinal. And you know, I am going to take the advice and to not go into that actual little bathroom stall. Oh, look at that. That's a heater, I think. It's totally cool. I like all this stuff. Look at all these things. This is the toilet towel dispenser. This, I have no idea what it is, but there's a crank on it. Another towel. This is for soap. Isn't this cool? I have no idea when this place was abandoned. It's a long time ago. So they were, and in the middle of it, another cousin showed up, and he was just like, I'm just going to jump in here. And the place where we were eating, they had a cow, because they're like, this table is only these many people, and there's laws about, look at this wood. There's laws about how many people we can fit in this area and all this stuff. And he didn't care. He was just shoving in and then ordering food and extending. And I'm like, oh my God. And they're yapping and yapping. Highly stressful. Getting to know my son's father, you know, because we could go up there. Let's go over here first. Because they never met him. Stressful situation. It was really awful. So my son's graduation was great. We ate dinner. It was great. I left. I was like half an hour late to my meeting. And then, because I really hate myself, on Sunday I decided, you know, let's really make the classic abandoned crap all over the floor. Let's see if we can kill ourselves and go under. This looks like, yeah, this was a like a garage door, and this is a piece of it, I think. Let's see if I die crawling underneath it. I keep saying that, but I mean seriously, this is like not the place that's very safe and healthy to be hanging out. So my my cousins had their big party, and then I left, and the next day I was like, okay, well, I have to go see my father. My son was like, "Ugh." But you know, he was supposed to be there, and it was actually as we were driving home that my son finally said, I kind of wish Grandmom had been there, my mother. And it was a shame that she died too early, and that it was more or less, I mean, it's awful to say it was her choice, but it really was. Well, it started to be her choice, and then the hospice took over, and it was sad for him. It was sad that his grandfather wasn't there, because he was out of his mind. So I was like, okay, we got to suck this up. He knew about it. He thought he was coming. You know, months ago we were trying to figure out, well, when he was still in the hospital, in like hospital, and then the first place that I was going to send him to, oh look, this is a stairwell. More cool stuff up there. Trying to figure out how to get him out in order to go to the ceremony, but he's so deteriorated. Does it go down? No, it doesn't go down. That we decided not to bring him. I don't think I'm gonna be walking up there. But I still, you know, it was hanging on my head. How was he going to react when he found out that we didn't take him? This is all insulation that I'm stepping on. It's really thick. Somebody smashed in the walls too. Oh, I don't think I'm going this way. Ooh. Nope. Turn around. So we decided to go see him. Sorry, I'm sinking and it's making me nervous. This is a concrete bunker. So, but that was the ceiling that caved in. So I'm sinking on it going, ah. was behind there. And sorry this video is all over the place, but I'm like looking at all this stuff as a distraction so I don't get super anxious about the hell that was this this weekend. Because it was really upsetting seeing my father. He was actually super, super lucid, recognized us. What is that? Is that a loon? No, that's not a loon, that's just a duck. So yes, can you see where the water comes through and the brickwork and everything? It's really deep. There's actually a dam that would make it go down, so it was useful at one point. That's all eventually going to cave in. Isn't that cool? Down there in the water, can you see it? Stuff that's fallen from this building, just rotting in the water, polluting it. Big wheel over there, I don't know what it does. I don't know if you can see that or not. I can see it. So he did recognize us, and he did, he was able to read the diploma, and he looked at the pictures, and he was very happy. He didn't get upset that we didn't take him. I was glad about that. He didn't remember that he was going to go, so he just liked getting the pictures. Ooh, a door. I wonder what's in here. A door down. Another level. I don't know that I've ever been down here. Let's go down. It says do not drop something. So that was actually for my father anyway. Concrete stairs. I shouldn't be afraid of them. They're not going to collapse on me. It was pretty good. He was pretty lucid. What was really, really sad, you know, I mean, he lives in a locked ward. You see what I mean by how deep that hole went? Pretty deep. Somehow his glasses got locked. Now he lives in it's like, I don't know, maybe 60 square feet room, maybe, probably less, and locked ward, and he's only allowed on one floor. Actually, he had a heart attack when we were leaving. Well, not a heart attack, but he was really upset because we were going on an elevator, and we're not allowed to go on the elevator to leave. Yeah, these stairs look safe. That looks safe up there. Let's try it. Oh, these are pretty solid. But they lost his glasses, and